And we are live. Welcome to the Alchemy Bench. Joining me in this communist sandwich, I am the mayonnaise, and we have the lettuce, Jonathan.
I did not mute, YouTube muted, so I just got, when the stream showed up on my end, it just like full blast of like the music.
That's why I do the music, to let you know.
Well, also,
and obviously, I'm mayonnaise because I am the whitest of white boys, and you are the lettuce because at least being NB gives you some texture.
Yes. I'm perfect as reference.
You could also be celery in that way.
Oh, okay. Now, if I'm spinach, I'm very nutritious as well, as opposed to like a lettuce.
Hey,
which is
and
just
here
like...
comes the not racist portion of the analogy, Isaiah.
I'm here. Welcome. I'm still busy sharing out like the thing, trying to figure out what to say. It's where I think I'll keep with like left unity's not a thing. Yes, it's okay to punch Nazis. Here is just as alchemy.
Yes.
So
yeah, left unity annoys me. What's that, Isaiah? Sorry.
No, I was saying. So I'm gonna actually order a new camera actually next week and a new like GoPro to record my YouTube stuff from when I make my model kits. But I called out sick to work today because I just didn't feel like it.
Yeah, it looks like you've been having a really unpleasant week. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been having. Yeah, I mean, with everything with like Putin and like I guess nuclear war or whatever, I've been like on like a downer shit. So like today I was like thinking if there's gonna be a nuclear war, I'm just not gonna I'm not gonna spend my last hours with some shit job.
Making I think it's somewhat unlikely we'll actually go to nuclear war.
Yeah, well, yeah,
because Biden doesn't have the balls for that.
True.
Well, I'm kind of like I was like, I guess I'm kind of being a little bit more facetious. I'm just being like, I don't
it's understandable to like not feel good and not feel well and be paranoid and that like, oh no problem, Mithril. No sorry, Mithril.
Yeah, well, here's the story.
Oh, I was talking to my family. Oh, what? That sounds super gay, Mithril. Let's be honest.
Here's the story. What happened? I was at my other job, which is a custodian at the Challenger Learning Center, but I don't. So my boss wants me to work there at 10, but on Sundays the buses don't run until like 11.
Yeah.
So they don't know that, but when I tried to tell them that, they ignored me. So so I guess next week I'm gonna have to walk to work next time on Sundays, which means I have to go to bed early on Saturdays. Even I work on Saturdays, so I have people like saying you should get out and meet people. It's like, well, if I'm always working on the weekdays and on the weekends, how am I gonna get out and meet people?
Capitalism ruins everything.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, totally.
Could you try talking to HR? Is it a big place you work at?
Well, it was because the job I work on the weekends, we used to be contracted through one of our like universities, Florida State University, but now we've done private, so it's kind of a different gig now, and the cleaning materials we got are still like very subpar than they were when we had like a government like contract. It's
okay. I mean, just because if it's big enough that they have a human resources department, you could possibly go through them and say, look, I literally can't be here because the buses don't run. And not taking that into account I can be harassment, discrimination, something like that.
I can be there, it's just I can't be there at 10.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, is that you can go to them and the fact that the management is ignoring you not being able to get there because the buses literally don't run that way.
Okay, maybe. I can do that. A friend of mine is actually helping me get a car, so that's good.
That's good.
It's while this was mentioned last night on Necronomicon's stream. Necronomicon was complaining, but it's because like in her neck of woods, she lives in New England and in Vermont. She was noticing that because of war, exactly, that the gas prices were increasing like at 10 cents per day, almost from like what she can tell as were.
It's a bad time to buy a car right now, honestly.
It's always a bad time to buy a car, if you ask me, honestly. Because I forgot to mention on the stream last night, but like in listening to a past "It Could Happen Here" podcast with Robin Evans, when he like almost every 2 months or something like that have like Shane Andrews on as a guest. As Shane Andrews is the opinion that like we're just not going to have cars, or don't, or for how we for the. Our environment as it is right now to still be here and be able to sustain us as a humanity, as it were, we gotta like just
We can have an environment, we can have a capitalism, we can't have both.
right. And he also says for like people's lifestyles, just like they expect not to own a car. But that requires of completely restructuring society, as it were. And American society is definitely not structured at all. American society was like built on, or cities and like city planning and all that was built on the idea that like everyone's going to own a car.
Well, that depends. The cities that were built on the East Coast, not so much, because they were still built like with like their colonial European
They
roots
grew
in some degree.
around the people walking, and so they had that
Right.
infrastructure.
But as you go more westward, then like it becomes more of it's kind of like looking through like a tree's ring system of like the ring representing, I don't know, it's like that.
Well, the Necronomicon did mention that because like she compared like New York City, which is like definitely the city that like you don't have to like own a car whatsoever, and many New Yorkers don't because it's on a grid system and people walk in places. Which for drivers makes it a terrible city to drive in because like it's on a grid system. However, Boston was based off of like the buggy roads, the horse-drawn roads of the colonial times, and it's like still structured that way, so they never like it's like it. I think in Necronomicon said that like it's a terrible city to drive in for a different reason, as it were, because like it's like
they both grew up around pedestrians. It's just that one was definitely planned from the beginning. The other one is like you threw spaghetti on a map.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I've actually been listening to like 1980s Cold War songs. You know, like Nina, 99 Lift Balloons.
That's 99 Left Loose is still a good song.
Yeah, I like the. I've actually kind of memorized the German version. I don't like the English version too much.
Luftballons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand like memorize the German version, not carrying further the English version. I still have like a Rammstein album as well, and they have like Du Hast and Engel, but the English versions, and I'm just like, no. I'm going to stick with the original German version of those songs.
Du Hast is it's actually, let's see, what's it called? A homophone, a pun in Germany, because it could be you have or you hate. So you have me or you hate me.
So let's see. What was I saying? I would finally tweet about it or say something about it, or like people talk about it. It's just like, wait a minute. I wonder, can like the American media? Oh no, they can't. They can't call like American billionaires oligarchs because the billionaires fund.
That would be admitting that the rich have undue influence over our politics.
I'm hearing that the oligarchs could stop the war in Russia. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely.
I bet.
That's what it means to be an oligarch. It means you have power.
Marty,
I personally oligarchy and not just rich people. But like Russia is like openly an authoritarian piece of nightmare, but the oligarchs in Russia probably could put an end to this, because although Putin is enormously powerful and murderous and like an asshole, I don't think he has complete and utter control over everything. He's not a all-powerful dictator there. I don't think. You should get Vovacat back on to ask him about that.
Yeah, we can have back on ask about that future one because no, last time was like a fascinating listen to.
That was
like
so interesting and helpful, and learning is good.
Well, I think Facebook. They don't have Facebook right now in Russia, so that might.
They've lost access to a lot of things. Yeah, which again hurts the poor more than it hurts the powerful.
Yeah, exactly. Because even though Russia got like sanctioned as where Russia the oligarchs are doing counter sanctions, and it's again, it's just not like the poor is just going to be stuck in the middle of all that. They're trying to survive.
The rich wage wars, the poor fight them.
Yeah, and we're sending our our veterans are going back over to fight the Russians in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys hear that shit?
No, I didn't.
Are you talking about volunteers, or is there an official thing happening?
These are volunteers.
Yeah, okay. Volunteers I had heard about. Ukraine has set up a foreign forces sort of thing, like the French Foreign Legion, but Ukraine. And that's good. If you can do that, then that's a good thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, having a way for those who want to go up there and fight for any reason. Yeah, I mean that happens all the time. George Orwell did that for the
Spain.
international.
Spain.
For Spain. Yeah.
And that is where he got very, very disillusioned with organized communism.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
fell out with the Soviet Union there, seeing how they betrayed Catalonia.
Mm-hmm. Catalonia, yeah, and that's why, and that's what caused him to write Animal Farms later on.
Animal Farm and 1984.
Oh yeah,
because 1984 was inspired by that, and also by his time in the British government during the war. Because he was working in the. Go ahead, Isaiah.
That's why I'm saying I'm gonna probably stop watching the news for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
that is a good thing if you're in a bad place mentally. The news is just not good for people.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Facebook,
with a good
Twitter, because doom scrolling is a thing.
Well, the good thing is that I don't really my TV connect channels are messing up, so maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, honestly, me and my brothers only use the TVs to be able to broadcast whatever is on our Xbox or PlayStation 4. That's where that's it.
Yeah, my TV is only for my Xbox. It doesn't play TV.
Okay. I mean, I have a shit ton of movies I can watch and all that.
Yeah.
So.
But we use our PS4 to watch an anime. They put in a DVD player essentially, or a Blu-ray player, and so yeah, exactly. And that's what the TV is for as well. And that's a good question. Marty is losing Facebook news. And I did see your personally. I like a 69 swollen balloons.
Yeah, I got my channel I can look at. I got my my YouTube channel I can work on. I got the whole series of Star Trek: The Next Generation on disc. So
yeah,
there was a lot of shit disguised. There's a lot of shit back in the 80s, Mithril. Like gay people doing stuff in public disguised everything and made it wonderful.
That's very true. Speaking of Marty, let's
wham.
Go ahead. Let's take our patrons. They're scrolling down the bottom of the screen as always. But thank you so much to Illy, Flora, Tim, Marty, who's in the chat with us. Joe McClory and the Fuckboys and Vonrak as well. Vonrak is still a patron, and he mentioned it in the our Discord as a word because there was just something screwing on Patreon sends as word, but and he didn't see the email for the decline payment until later, but he got it fixed and is and happy to be a patron of us, and thanks so much for anyone who is a patron for us, for even $1, because you give us money for us to just sit around for 90 minutes talk about whatever things. But hey, at least on John Brockman's camera, cat. It's at least cats.
Yes. If I have the option between me and a cat, I will choose to give you my cat, even if it's my cat's butt as he lounges in the window.
Because cats, that's where. And don't forget,
Yeah.
the next Sunday is the second Sunday of the month, so next Sunday will be the patron show. So if you're
I
here,
absolutely would have forgotten that.
I'll also try to remind you like on the Friday or Saturday before the show, so that you can like set it up and then put it into the thing as well. It's a good thing I'm here as a sort of unofficial producer, or no, wait, I'm part of the show, so I'll be official producer. Unlike on Steve Shives, I'm just his friend that like says, "Hey, we're about to go live" or something.
Yeah, you are the producer. You are the the hype man. You are
promotions
You do a heck of a lot.
for sure. Let's see. I haven't covered some news items this were now. Unfortunately, this is going to touch on the events that happen in Ukraine as well as a lot of news does. But particularly, hello Limpy, how you doing? But particularly, this is treatment of refugees in Ukraine. Basically, the white refugees from Ukraine treated well, first in line on the buses. Oh, women and children first, though. But also get the food first and everything else. But the black and Asian refugees from Ukraine, nope, back to the line.
I am
Yep.
shocked.
I was
Next, you're
not
going to
shocked
tell me
at
that we're
all.
turning away the Jews.
I mean, that's my point. That's another thing to bring up. It's remember, yes, hype NB, hype NB, hype. Okay, Limpy. I'm going to change my name on Twitter to that hype NB.
Hold on a second. I'm going to do some Googling and a little bit of work with Microsoft Paint. I'll be back in a minute. You keep on talking about Ukraine.
I'm no longer Johnny Cakes on Twitter. I'm hype NB, but with I'm keeping everything else because everything else can be fit in there as well. But not NB with two E's because I'm not B. Limpy's a B though. I'm a fox. But hype NB, keep free Palestine, BLM, and ACAB. So let's still look. I'll finish the story of the Times article as it were because it's just the case where it's you know what? Yes, Ukraine is in eastern part of Europe as it were, and a European country, but they still will allow the Nepalese, Indian, Somalian, and Congolese and people to travel there or come there for schooling and that sort of thing.
Well, it's because I think they have good healthcare classes there. I think I've heard.
Yeah. I think that's what's mentioned in the article is where they go schooling for different things and just stay because you know what, that's the right as we're to if you travel to somewhere like the place you can stay as it were. We're for open borders here on such as Alchemy or
Open borders for everyone.
It is, but not surprising that in Ukraine or specifically Poland because like many refugees are trying to escape to Poland as it were, since like the nearest country and part of the EU, which has its own complications as well. But like I think I did hear in the news from the European Union that they were going to allow Ukraine into the EU at one point as well, or like soon. And it's like, you know, I'm not saying I'm in full favor of the EU as it is right now, because it's a bureaucratic neoliberal institutions. We're hey Phoenix.
Why doesn't Russia just join the EU?
I don't know if Russia could ever join the EU as we're.
It does create open economic systems, and that is better in some ways. But it also means that capital is more free to flow than people, so it typically allows oligarchs to take more advantage of the poor, but the poor can find some benefits in it.
Yes, definitely the free movement of people is like really like a great. That's one of the best things about like the EU. Something like that. I had a liberal friend that like
Phoenix. I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, that's like a terrible here.
And if you look at YouTube, you will see that I am done editing my image. You'll see that I have now replaced you with a pin labeled B, and it is high up in the image. You are now high pin B.
High pen B.
And I will only break out the visual pun. Sometimes you're welcome.
Oh god. I'll still come back here every week, and so what was that? Okay,
Since
there we
David
go.
is feeling bad, I have to jump in and fill his role as the bad punter.
Give Phoenix money. Gonna post the
Definitely give Phoenix
GoFundMe
money.
link.
She needs help. And by donating to us, you donate to her because we give her $50 a month.
Okay, yeah. There we go.
Who do you guys think is the most hated person in the world right now?
Still Hitler.
That's a good point. Because,
Actually,
like,
no. A lot of the world probably didn't give a shit about Hitler because he didn't really affect Africa or Asia or South America.
That's a good point. But that's the thing. I don't know. The only people I know outside of like America are other English-speaking people, so that does not like allow me access to know the opinions of like everyone else in the world. This work. Great penmanship.
Why got to be a man ship, huh? Pin person ship, pin person. Jonathan's NB God.
I am a man too, as well. Just like I'm a man some of the times. It's gender's weird. So yeah.
Like in China, they probably have very, very negative memories of the Japanese due to World War II.
Mm-hmm.
In South Asia, they have pretty negative memories of Pol Pot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of candidates for the most evil motherfucker.
The most
And
hated
it's
person
mostly
in the
going to be
world.
regional because nobody, apart from the U.S., has truly global reach when it comes to fucking people over.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm trying to remove all the news stuff on my YouTube on my YouTube page or like on YouTube that I look at to minimize anxiety coming back.
Mm-hmm. I think not much of the news items. The Ukraine one was the only one, and that was like I have news items. I barely don't have many news items, honestly, though. But that was the only one that's connected to like the situation as where the other news item I have, but like they just bring up, but like we know this to be very true. The Wall Street Journal reported that like meat industries where the DOJ is investigating the poultry companies for conspiring with each other essentially to keep wages low. As we're, gee,
That is technically against the law. It's
yes.
a more than a century old law, and it's almost never enforced because capitalism, but still. And I got to say, Jonathan, I feel attacked by your hat that's cultural appropriation of the South.
To be fair, I did not get. I received this as a gift from my former manager, who's a Trump supporter and an anti-vaxxer.
Oh, so he definitely was being racist and giving you that hat.
Well, he one time did say in a private conversation, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it, the N word, and referring to like that's what people were called then as were, and it's like. And there was a person of color that was like right in that group with us. He's like next though, but like still he felt uncomfortable with that conversation that we had where he used the actual word. It's just like
that is a conversation you report to HR. Get the paperwork, get the paper trails so that in the future when he does nasty shit to black people, you have evidence that it's racial animus and not just, hey, we chose the best person for the job.
So Geek, you said that you know people who are pagans and that I shouldn't hate all religion.
He lives in Seattle, of course he knows pagans.
It's Seattle, near Seattle, and like but Seattle and Portland in the same city. And now not discounting your experience with religious people as it were, and how they make you feel, and the fundamentalists for sure. But like I did used to be in the position in my atheist days, like with New Atheism as it were, to be anti-religious, just totally anti-religious as it were, but
right.
and wanted and did had the desire to get rid of all religion entirely as were. I have now accepted that, like, despite my pleading and my desire for people to be like rational, not the rational TM as it were, but like just be reasonable or logical about this sort of things. For better or worse, there will be people that will that want to believe in ghosts. They'll probably say that, oh yeah, ghosts is not real. There's no evidence that whatsoever, or something like that. But they'll still want to believe that ghosts are real, so they'll play games like Phasmophobia or watch like trashy like ghost hunting shows and stuff like that. And so I just have accepted that like people will believe in things that they cannot prove is true for whatever reason. The Taffy Wolf, who's been a guest on our show quite a few times, but she's been busy with life stuff and so like I haven't seen her around that much. Is a pagan herself. She's a heathen. She's their pantheon is I think the Norse mythology as well.
She's a Nazi, and we invited her on the show. You cannot believe in the Norse pagans without being a Nazi. That's just. I'm being totally facetious if you couldn't tell by the tone of my voice.
I'm a very,
but that is
I'm
an
a very
unfortunate thing about the Norse.
person.
Was that Zaya?
Yes.
I'm spiritual. I'm not religious.
Yeah.
I enjoy nature and things.
So you have emotions. That's a.
I'm not gonna dog anyone that like identifies as like spiritual. I did identify as spiritual before. That's my way of saying like I'm religious, but not that religious as were, or not that devoted. Guess like yeah, so I've been open about me being raised Catholic, and my mom is Catholic, still Catholic actually. I don't talk to my mom or my dad or my stepmom about like what the Catholic churches does as it were, and like several atrocity has done historically and currently. So it's just like we don't talk about it. But like. My mom never believed in all of the Catholic traditions as were. So for Ash Wednesday, never got the ash on our forehead. Never did that. We just did the fasting. That's it. And so, but like, many people have many different reasons for why they say they're spiritual and stuff like that, and nothing wrong with that. Honestly, because like, again, like, if it's just you, just your private faith, your personal faith. And I do enjoy nurture too, Marty. That's a good point as well. So long as you're just like not hurting anyone else, why should I care? Like what you believe in as a word. When you try to like enact laws that I don't agree with, or definitely use it to justify your bigotry, I'm going to hate the bigotry. Absolutely, as a word.
Personally, I distrust religion just because it's based on faith. And therefore, it has no actual basis in anything, and it can go anywhere. That's why you get Quakers and white supremacists in the Catholic and Christian religion.
And Joey says, like, sorry, I'm still anti-theist. There's people believe in stuff because we allow it to continue. Yeah, I can. So, yeah, okay. I can understand that as we're and we. So if it comes up in conversation, not saying we should like force this belief, but we should certainly like enculture it. Just saying. Okay, I'll agree with you there, Joey. Just in culture, critical thinking, for example, as it were, and then people can still decide to believe in things that they can't prove after that, as it were. Now, if someone just tries to like say to me, "No, God is real," here's that. That's where it's just like I'm going to push back. I will push back, and I have before, as it were. Because like people trying to like proselytize and
be a racist bigot like that, Richard Dawkins. God.
I mean, if like people want to have conversations about me about their beliefs and that sort of things, and like I'll definitely say what I believe. Again, I spend like 30 minutes with like people handing out like, hey, we got this food program for free food and stuff like that. So what do you think about Jesus? I was like, I think it's maybe if there's a historical person like Jesus is work, definitely not like a son of God because there is no God, and definitely, and he has a lot of good teachers, but you get those good teachers from like a lot of different places as were, and what about the afterlife? Oh, I don't care about the afterlife. I don't think there's not an afterlife as where I'm not interested in saving my soul or like care about like a afterlife as where. No, I'm not interested in the afterlife. I'm interested in here and now, helping my friends and comrades so I can improve the world. And
there was some dude named Jesus. He was not a god. He also wasn't particularly amazing. Like you
Yeah,
read the Sermon
yeah.
on the Mount, there's a reason we call it the Platitudes. Side note for non-Christians, the Christians call it the Beatitudes because it's supposedly so beautiful. It's garbage.
So yeah, I have like new unside feelings about like religion as well, and it has changed over time. But yeah, it's my opinions. But yeah, I definitely agree to like far less like fundamentalism. It's just like uh, and then it was like then it's like up to others of like how if hard they like push back. If there's an afterlife, I don't think I have to like worry about it much because like I'm not a landlord. That's a good point. Indigenous Harry, because Jesus wasn't even a great activist. He was far too tolerant, as it were. That's a good point. Yeah. Turn on the cheek. Just kept on turning the other cheek, turn the other cheek, turn the other cheek, turn.
I gotta say, the story of the Good Samaritan was a good lesson against bigotry.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the only good thing he did. Everything else was stupid and racist and misogynist and homophobic and so on. But the Good Samaritan, that was a decent bit.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. I do got some like a couple of terrible news pieces, as it were, just quickly. According to Democracy Now, SCOTUS ruled CIA black sites can be treated as state secrets.
God fucking damn it.
Yep. Because this is a case from Abu I'm going to butcher his name, Abu Sabada, a Guatemala Guantanamo, not Guatemala, Guantanamo prisoner and torture survivor who was basically suspected of like terrorist activities, as it were, since 2002 and has been detained in prison there without charge, as it were, and tortured. Wanted to call on the CIA psychologist, as it were, to like prove he's been illegally detained and tortured in SJA black sites in Poland, as it were. And the Supreme Court has like said like, no, this is state secrets, and so basically, yeah, they can't like tried or like bring them into the things, as it were. Jesus, like Socrates, wrote nothing in himself. So whatever people think he said, he might have, but most of it is probably made up. You know what? I can agree with that, and agree with that with like Socrates too, as well, because we have at best like second-hand accounts anyway.
Yeah, and the stuff written about Jesus was written decades later.
Oh yeah.
Nothing remains of the historical Jesus. Basically, all that remains is that there was a dude. And that's pretty much it.
I was just saying
there
that
was
like
a dude named Jesus.
Right, right. I would say that like yes, for Jesus at best some of that is like secondhand accounts, but I was mostly talking about Socrates. Have like we at best we have is like secondhand accounts what Socrates says. So at least we know he's the real person, though. But Jesus, most of it the accounts we have are third-hand accounts anyway.
Yep. With Socrates, we know he existed just because he was so controversial. The reason he was actually put on trial is because some of his students were such political activists. One of his students was just betraying people left and right. He worked for one group, then he betrayed them to go work for another group, then betrayed them to go work for another group. He was bouncing back and forth between Sparta and Athens and the Persians. And basically that one dude is why Socrates got put to death.
You're probably right, though, guy David. Hey, Litano, how you doing?
Julie! I'm sorry to hear that, Julie. But hey, you get Sasha, so there's that.
Mm-hmm. That's probably right, David. His name probably wasn't even like Jesus.
No, it was Yehoshua, or Joshua, basically. Jesus is the Latin version. And his name means Savior. Which is kind of on the nose, and therefore probably not his original name.
Yeah, and that's another thing about like the accounts we have, like Jesus were, which is like most of them third-hand accounts, but also they were written for specific like different like things, which is why you got the so very different, so widely different like details about like Jesus's life, as it were, like the divine like divine Mary or divine conception was only in two of the Gospels, as it were. So like the rest didn't care about like how he was born, and also that gap of like between 12 and 30 too.
Basically, we don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
John Dominic Crossan, I think, wrote a biography of Jesus, and with every absolute appreciation of the irony, in the foreword to his biography of Jesus, said, "When people go looking for the historical Jesus, they end up looking in a mirror." Just because we know nothing. All we have is the highly mythological and metaphorical account given by the Gospels. And those were written decades after the fact.
I will say
Yeah.
this, Lito. I've read only like the prologue to Lamb, and I'm like, okay, this is good, right? I want to read the rest of it.
Oh,
That's the
Christopher
word.
Moore is adorable. I have not read Lamb. I have read his Blood-Sucking Fiend books, in which a girl gets turned into a vampire and then has to deal with romance after that. The first one, I
My
think, was
dad one
Blood-Sucking
time
Fiend.
called.
Go ahead, Isaac.
Go
My
ahead,
dad
Jason.
one time called. So I'm named Isaiah, duh,
Mhm.
and my so it's like the prophet in the Bible, and my
Mhm.
dad one time called me the prophet from hell.
Oh, well. Oh yeah, Len P said like, oh, so like
Hi,
one of
Jocelyn.
Socrates
Haven't seen you
is
around before, I don't think.
I think I have seen you around before as word, but it's just like it's just gonna like say hi, I'm gonna look
But
for a while
definitely
watching.
welcome to the
Thank you.
community. Lurk as much as you want. And
Yes,
there's my
yeah,
cat flexing his butt.
yeah, Limpy said like one of Socrates' students would be fun in your local DSA chapter. uh, I should go more to the DSA meetings and just be like that anarchist is always like propping things, as it were.
Don't go too agitprop because then you're following the CIA or the FBI handbook on disruption.
Oh yeah, but then again, it's like one of my comrades on Twitter, or one of my mutuals on Twitter, like said, is like, is it worth it as an anarchist to like join local DSA, or is that just going to be a front for the CIA to like spy on us? That's where maybe.
I think it's worth it. You know, they if they do good stuff, they do good stuff. You know, just be aware
Yeah,
that the CIA already has files on all of us because we have openly stated we are communists.
true. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Another YouTuber with a much more prominent channel. He has where instead of our twos of listener, he has thousands of listeners. Second something. I'm having trouble remembering it. But he did a video on the assassinations committed by the CIA, things the CIA has done, and the following week, FBI agents showed up at his door to talk to him. So, yeah, the
Well,
U.S.
I
government is
would talk.
definitely still doing COINTELPRO.
I mean, I would talk like you mean like they like when the CIA comes to you, like I mean the FBI, like do they actually like talk to you or I don't know. Like, do you really want to hear what I gotta say? I think you guys have caused a lot of trouble. I'm sorry you don't agree with that, but that's the truth.
No, I think they have a thing. They have a second thought. Yes, that's the one, Limpy. They probably, you know, in order to tick all the boxes to make sure they're able to get shit through the courts, is why they probably show up and interview you. Because they got to make sure they're following protocol. Because, you know, the Jews love paperwork and so on. That's how they would put it because they're white supremacists. Sasha is adorable.
Mm-hmm. I had a thought. What was one like the next topic to bring up that I have? Okay. So there's. So there. So not the last Friday. Friday. Which Friday was it? The 25th. So the last Friday in February, I was on Corey Johnson's channel. He's going to rebrand it from. It's currently the Mind of Skeptical Leftist. He's going to just like change his shorten it to just like Skeptical Leftist. It gets it basically comes across the right thing. Now the thing is, like, honestly, a minor point for me. Yeah, Restaurant, like Julie, sorry to hear about the bad pain thing. I like the Mind of Skeptical Leftist because, like, at least like it does sound like he's like a critical thinker, as it were. About Skeptical Leftist, you can almost sounds like is he skeptical of like a leftist, as it were. So there's a live stream I did of what it's like left unity, and that's going to be its own topic as well. Just like I was actually surprised that like most everyone kind of like were or more or less on the same page. Just like because me, Corey, and Anarchists are pretty like, no, left unity is not tactically useful at all, as it were, and like that. And while some of the other panelists, like there was just a guy from the DSC, Democratic Socialists of Canada, just like a local activist in Saskatchewan, near where Corey lives, that gave some counterpoints against that, but like it seemed to like a full agree that like not everyone on the left should be unified. That was kind of interesting. And Justin Clark, who's Marxist-Leninist and does red reviews with like Corey Johnson, also I thought was going to be in favor of left unity, but says like no, left unity is not useful at all because even though he's Marxist-Leninist, as it were, he thinks is like it's okay to have like debates, as it were. So the only person that was on there that was it seemed to be for left unity or it says is important and wants to talk about it is someone who definitely has some opinions, as it were. That's like Ben Burgess. See, everyone familiar with Ben Burgess?
That name sounds familiar.
He's a Jacobin columnist.
That's why.
Wrote the yes. He also wrote the book of "Give Them a Better Argument." He's kind of like a professional arguer because, like, if you see him in like in debate spaces, it's like,
he is. Is he the left-wing version of Ben Shapiro? Debate me, Brad. Debate me.
It's no, I don't know. But the thing is that like, he's for left unity because like we need to like the left is a very small number of people. We're a minority people. We got to get more people to like. He's that kind of leftist, as were. So I don't know where he is politically. He says he's anti-Stalinist though. So okay, at least you will agree that genocide should happen. But he seems to be more of the electoralism kind of leftist, as it were. But also
would the tankies then support the Ukraine invasion by Putin then?
I think actually
probably not, because Putin isn't a leftist. Some of them are though, which is
I've heard from other comrades. I've basically seen from other mutuals on Twitter. I haven't seen any tankies themselves saying like this is good that like of Russia's imperialism, as it were. I know of leftists that like are supportive like America's imperialism, and that's a terrible take as well. But that's like. I don't know how you can like be self-described as a libertarian socialist and be for American sides of imperialism, as were. Left unity is possible and necessary. Debates within that unity is also possible and necessary. Oh, okay, so that's an interesting idea. In just heretic. Okay, I
agree with unity in terms of acting. I disagree with unity in terms of not criticizing.
I guess that's this whole topic too of like left unity, what we mean by it, and that's my question as always of what we mean by it, because I think everyone on the panel was like agree no in the here and now, or like for this activity as it were, we can definitely be unified together. I mean, it's not if I'm going to a BLM protest or like going to like give food to homeless people, as it were, or doing that kind of like practices, as it were, or squatting. I'm not going to card everyone that's there as like, what kind of association do you working with right now? Who are you with right now? What's your ideology? No, I don't care. It's just like
good leftists do squats.
Yes, exactly.
Workout, bro, on the left, yo.
Have you guys ever watched Baywatch before?
No, don't care.
I've seen some episodes of it. I was alive in the 90s, and the internet was still in its early phases. I will leave it at that.
I just like the theme song, honestly.
The theme song is good. But like the what I want where's that in tab is a word that I want. Okay, so is but Ben Burgess, the one that's really onto like left unity and something like that, has also said this. This is a tweet from like a chat quoting Ben Burgess as it were, because like a chat said this guy got rock because that's the thing that week that I was on the panel with Ben Burgess and all those others to talk about left unity. Ben Burgess was on Joe Rogan. Yeah, I did not. I did not bring it. I did not bring it up at all. I was so tempted.
Joe
to
Rogan
do so.
is not Tucker Carlson. It's not Fox News.
But still,
it's close.
It's Joe Rogan. That's
He's a
what I call
multi-phase
him.
bigot who believes in conspiracy theories. He is not a good actor.
yeah, and so many have like a. It's easy from the right to unify since they have like no policies except for like a fear and hatred, and that's something that's funny thing that Corey Johnson brought up when he like was listening to one of his podcasts. So they played a clip of like Charlie Cook at some convention somewhere saying that like you know the like the leftists like the unified forces of world while here on the right everyone is we're always fighting against each other, and it's like I guess they live in two different worlds because if they say that the right is always fighting against the world, then I can see the disagreements is there. Then and they think the left is unified front, but of course Charlie Kirk also is like looking at liberals basically and seeing them as unified thought. Yeah, unfortunately, some liberals do ask for the coalition for electoralism as well, and at least that was a common thing amongst the panelists that they all agreed that like electoralism, while could do some good in theory, it's just a dead end. It's just a dead end for like this praxis as it were in you, and so and it's again just like for this issue or Big Tent as it were, yeah, definitely we can work together. But I'm also got like at the end of praxis as it were, or at the end of protest, or once I finally out of jail after like being arrested as it were, I'm just gonna go back to like my group as it were. And it's also used. It can be useful for having the groups just be separated anyway, but can come together when need to work together on particular activities. Again, for that one situation, or for that one activity, or for this day's protest, or for this common cause, as it were. But they can still be separate groups. So it's kind of interesting. I want to know what people are meaning by left unity and why they say, yeah, Marty, I agree. I only support left unity in mutual aid.
I'm sorry, I kind of spaced out choosing another GIF. So could you go back and repeat everything you said for like the last 5 minutes? I'm kidding.
Okay, because let's go for me because I'm trying to remember. But like, so back to Ben Burgess. This is also one of those class first leftists, as it were. But
that would probably be why I know his name.
Yeah, but this is what but like the quote tweet the chat is like talking about the Ben Burgess did like a 8-piece like thread on Twitter back on March 3rd, and he's showing the screenshot of like Noam Chomsky saying that like Antifa is the gift of the far right and U.S. state repression, as it were, from 2017. Noam Chomsky did say that because Noam Chomsky is anti-Antifa. And
he's
so
an old school leftist and not hip to anti-tanky stuff. That's my take on Chomsky.
Yeah, and also Noam Chomsky also like is signing off with like the cancel culture letter as well. So it's just like, I can still enjoy some of his writings. I listened to my
He's a moneyed white man. We'll leave it at that.
But yes, yes. But like, Ben Burgess. So Ben Burgess is that like, no, let's not punch Nazis because he think that like we as the left help Andy and Go when we punch them, as it were.
No, we punched Andy and Go when we punched Andy and Go. We did not help him. He doesn't need help. The Fash don't need help. They will always construct a narrative no matter what. They will always play the victim. The enemy are always too big and too weak. You know, like fuck him. We punch Andy and Go. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
yeah, Ben Burgess.
that
yeah.
is a crime. It's. I still think he
And
deserves
it's,
to be punched. Maybe you shouldn't punch him.
hey, Jordan P, you came into the interesting time as I'm talking about like class first leftists like Ben Burgess, as it were. But yeah, Ben Burgess just doesn't understand the rest of the left, where like he says like it's that they where we say it's okay to punch Nazis
Ben
because we're
Burgess and
punching
Noam
Nazis.
Chomsky are boomer leftists.
Again, Ben Burgess wrote for Jacobin, and it's just like he was also good friends with Michael Brooks, which like many leftists like Michael Brooks a lot. I still have my criticisms,
I
or
have
me
not
and
heard
other
of him.
firms. Michael Brooks was on the Sam Cedar show as well. As I can definitely say that like Michael Brooks is the leftist and then anti-capitalist, but also is like he still has like just a bit of brochless energy with like Michael Brooks, and Ben
Well,
Burgess
he
just
is a
has
white
more
guy.
of the. Yeah, he is. Was he died at 37, unfortunately.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so
too
he
bad.
died this like a died in
2 years ago.
2021
he
or
died.
yeah
July.
2 years
He died
ago.
on my birthday in 2020.
Oh yeah. So many people were sad about that. Yeah,
I
as
willed
were.
him to death in the past. Okay.
um yeah, but like yeah, that's where it's like, and this is the thing is like, it's kind of funny when Corey Johnson did said on Facebook that he was having Ben Burgess on his podcast, so like the Mind the Skeptical Leftist, for an interview, in which he did. I did actually like, and he was tagged in that Facebook book. I said, "Why don't you talking about like this, like a class first lesson?" Because I knew that Ben Burgess also is at Zero Books, and I knew Zero Books was like rightfully criticized for being like I think one of their editors at Zero Books or video makers at Zero Books did like make a point. It's just like, well, yes, well, trans issues like are important and stuff like that. They should not be like overriding class issues.
I have
Yes.
feelings.
So Zero Books and a lot of other people, no, Zero Books at that time for that video was rightfully criticized for that take, as it were, because like, no, that's the okay boomer, okay, like Bill Maher. No, trans rights issues are not a bougie issue, as it were. It's important. It's so important right now. So we gotta talk about it. And like, it's I honestly thought that Ben Burgess like said that, but like he corrected and said like, I did not make that video, as where I did not make that take, as where. But like, one of the videos that I did, or one of the articles I read for my Twitch channel, as were, I'll find that video as were. The word is I don't know, it's one of my earlier ones. Then I'm trying. There we go. There it is. Why class first leftists are wrong. I actually can't find the original like article as it is, but I read the article in full on that like stream in that video, as it were. And it turns out, so I back and forth with Ben Burgess on the Corey Johnson's Facebook post about that, because I wanted like Corey Johnson to bring it up, and he did in a way. But like, I also cited that video and that like article why class first leftists like wrong, as were. And according to Ben Burgess, that was a hit piece to him, against him. Now, going back to that video and listening to that video that I just linked, no, yeah, that video was calling all Ben Burgess's quotes, or some of his quotes for what to say. Class first leftists. So yeah, Ben Burgess.
We'll deal
like,
with class,
sucks.
and then we'll stop being racist randomly.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, I think Ben Burgess is one of those guys who think that we can like talk to the fascists and appeal to their better nature, even though they don't have any.
I don't know if you've noticed, but the media is unwilling to call white supremacists these days. Now they call them white nationalists.
That's what they call themselves, and or white identitarians, as it were. But yeah.
So I'm scrolling through Right Wing Watch, seeing if there's anything of note, and a bunch of prominent right wingers like Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke at AFPAC, the America First political action.
on Nick Fuentes too.
Mm-hmm. It is a white supremacist organization, is exactly what it is, and. Right Wing Watch is repeatedly saying white nationalist praises Marjorie Taylor Greene for mainstreaming our message. Marjorie Taylor Greene is white nationalism's latest vehicle, over and over again, just white nationalism, Christian nationalism, and so on.
Yeah, they like Putin too.
U.S. far right adores Vladimir Putin's Christian nationalism more than freedom and democracy on Right Wing Watch.
Yeah, Russia is a red state to them. Not like red is in communism, but red as in
Red is in Republican.
Republican.
It is.
It's not
It is
communist.
It's a upper right hand corner, right wing authoritarian nightmare. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
exactly.
love them
And
some authoritarians.
right, and punching Nazis is cool. Actually, put that on a T-shirt. Yeah, and remember, punching Nazis only costs you $1. That one guy that actually did punch a Nazi is where he was like,
That was not in South Carolina. just saying.
yeah, that's true. That's true. It was one case too. But yeah, it's just like, what else is like happening? Well, okay, one of my other news stories is a terrible news story. The jury acquitted one of the police officers that was in the raid that killed Breonna Taylor. I don't think he was on trial for that at the worst because like they got acquitted.
Fuck the police, fuck the police, fuck them all.
Yes, it's just like Russia is a kleptocracy. Yeah,
It's yeah. Oh, everywhere where there are rich people, it's a kleptocracy. So everywhere is a kleptocracy at the moment, thanks in no small part to the United States.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about how whatchamacallit, Viking Norway equals Nazi. My beard jewelry. You know, I looked long and hard to find beard rings that did not have
Runes?
Norse runes. You know, the Futhark.
Mm.
But I could not find any. So eventually I settled on a group that did, and I'm still very careful about which symbols I wear. You know, so like here, just one of the Norse runes. The ones I won't wear in public is Othala, because the Nazis fucking love that one because it means purity. And another one I typically don't wear is this one. You can't really see it because of glare. Let's see if I can provide some shade. There we go.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
It's the Black Sun, which predates the Nazis, but like by 1,000 years, but has become so thoroughly identified with the Nazis that it is thought.
Well, the
to
Native
be
Americans
Nazi.
have the swastika, so I wonder.
Oh
I
yeah,
wonder
the swastika
how,
is a universal thing. Everybody, everywhere in the world, came up with a version of the swastika. Sometimes clockwise, sometimes counterclockwise. But
Yeah.
so even though this is not actually Nazi in origin, it is so thoroughly identified with the Nazis that this is not something that I typically wear. In fact, this is the first time I've ever put on the Black Sun.
Yeah, and that also goes into the topic in internet culture as it were about like Pepe the Frog as it were because so many people still some
The
people have
Groypers
said
stole Pepe.
yeah.
You mean Pepe Le Pew? You mean that?
No, that's
Pepe
a
the
different
Frog
cartoon.
is from a webcomic, and Nazis, for some reason, decided to steal the icon of this webcomic frog.
Well, I was being funny. I was trying to make fun of Julie, but she's not.
Oh, okay. And I totally went full boomer on you. And that's okay, because you are a young un. Oh, fuck off, David.
I was going to wait to see you did that. I was going to wait to see. I wonder if I went to like Sean 6 at that time. Guys, like, no, David. I think that was brilliant. I didn't see it. I just said I didn't relax much. Just a word.
God damn it.
I didn't want to react because like I wanted to wait for like John's reaction. Let's say someone else's reaction.
Jesus Christ. All right. Where were we?
Pepe the Frog, as it were.
Yes.
We mentioned before, and I asked before because like some people, I still see it in like Discord servers. Some of my friends that follow other people as it were, or friends with other like streamers, have like Pepe the Frog or something like that as like their channel points or one of their emotes as it were. And some of my friends will also use like other like Pepe the Frog like emotes as it were that were from other channels as it were. And so it's like okay, if it's my friends that are doing it, I'm sure they're not Nazis as it were. But if it's anyone else, is that streamer a Nazi? or it's like, and so far there's the debate as where, or people believe that like Pepe the Frog has been reclaimed, but yet many people that's where there's the divide as where, because like not everyone agrees on that. And I'm not sure if this has been reclaimed. Unfortunately, if we are continuing to use Pepper the Frog because he is so emotive as well, so he works great for emotes, will that like make cover for Nazis to want to use it again as well? So that's like a difficult thing. As we said before, Joey was on that call as where they would like oh, that's right, Joey, you did also say that like indigenous people also kind of reclaimed it too. So like it depends on like who it is that posted it. It could be just from one on the internet as where it might be possibly a Nazi, but I'm not sure how likely that is. Or it could be someone who's indigenous that's like using a reclaimed version of Pepe. So it's like that's where it's like difficult to say. Hey, and whereas like I can understand why people like hesitant for like using runes or like suspected of runes and that sort of thing too, as well as like Norse mythology or Norse paganism. But like I know Tavi and like she has said like definitely no. There's like a lot of people in Norse pagan mythologies or in Norse paganism as were also fucking hate the Nazis too.
Oh yeah. There
Like,
are
they
a
wish,
lot of
like-
Norse paganists who are absolutely not white supremacists or anything like that. They are
Oh yeah.
connecting with past culture and heritage and so on, but they are not Nazis. But you got to be careful because
Yeah.
they could be.
I personally, but that's why it's like you always got to be anti-fascist. Just be call it out whenever you see it, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Is the UK really the foremost launderer of dirty money, or are they just the foremost launderer of white people's dirty money? Come on, let's be honest, Mithril.
I was suspected. I was suspicious of Pepe, though. Even though indigenous people are trying to really claim him, I'm a sus as a rule, though. Yeah. You did mention that as well. It's so like I'm sus as a rule. If anyone using Pepe as well, or in like Twitch channel or Discords that like using Pepe, because like
anyone
I
whose
have...
screen name uses the numbers 14 or 88. Yeah, they might have been born in 88. They might have been born, July 4th or something like that, or January 4th. But they might also be Nazis doing the Nazi number thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I agree, Jacqueline. There's a reclaim there's a reclaim the runes movement in the heathen community. Yeah. Also, I know Jacqueline. I know like their name from like somewhere else as well. So if they want to say like
is it Jacqueline or Jocelyn? Because it looks like Jocelyn.
I don't know. I know the screen.
Well, they can let us know how to pronounce their name.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just the problem is that the Nazis steal everything.
Sure.
They always steal symbols from everywhere, so it becomes almost impossible. Like this. This is now a white power sign because WP, and they did that deliberately. They stole milk. They stole Pepe the Frog. They steal things from everywhere. They never come up with anything original, and they always ruin everything for everyone.
I thought black people stole stuff.
Well, that is the stereotype, but no, black people actually create shit because y'all are awesome.
You see what I did there? See what I did there?
Yep. Yes, referring to I have Josh. Cool. No problem.
Well, Nick Fuentes, I think, said that one time that black people just commit crimes, but I'm like, well, then why are like Europeans killing each other again? You've had two
because
world
of black
wars.
people. It's your fault.
It's white on white crime. 2 world wars.
See, they never talk about white on white crime because it's just crime.
Yep. I did a thing on Facebook. God, what was it? Saying it was just shit posting. Saying that there's a reason. Some people are just better than others. You go away from the equator, there's less sunshine, and therefore you become evil because sunshine makes you a good person. And somebody took me seriously. And It was like, actually, black on black crime. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, actually, we get more sunshine in the equator than you do up north.
That's what I
So,
was saying, is that as you go further away, you get less sunshine, and getting less sunshine makes you evil, makes you a criminal.
Mhm.
so the sun is evil. Is that
No,
what
no,
you're
lack of sunshine. Lack of sunshine makes you evil. The sun is good. The sun is good, actually.
Lack of sunshine makes you okay. This is so stupid. I can't even. I can't even. I can't even.
That's
I
like
can't
I
even
said,
put
it
this
was
together in my
shitposting.
head.
I was deliberately being fatuous in the extreme.
You hear her first, people. The lack of sunshine makes you evil. And agree to this here that the far right can't come up with their own shit. Absolutely, which is why they always steal things. This is why they love the Let's Go Brandon so much, because they finally got the second joke. They finally got a second joke.
Let's go, Brandon. Attack helicopter. Boop, boop, boopity boop.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll shout "Let's go, Brandon!" but when they're and then complain about gas prices, but then they drive a giant ass truck.
Mm-hmm.
See, David Scott said, in the village I grew up in, they put up a replica runestone from the 600s that used to be one of the local gardens. Now it's now crate somewhere in the museum in Stockholm. Okay, that was a long time. Well, that is the right thing to do, just like steal things from other cultures. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm wearing this hat. I forgot to mention that, like, my former manager, terrible person, but he was a diver and he was in the Bahamas. They made this for him on the Bahamas.
A diver? Wait, you said pedophile. That's what Elon Musk says. Pedophiles. Thailand, pedophiles.
The Bahamas, not Thailand. I don't know if you've ever been to Thailand. But like, so this
Thailand.
So this Thailand. So this was actually wet when he like took it onto the plane with him, as it were, and it had to like dry. So he didn't like wear it on the plane trip back home, obviously. And so that's where it come from. And let's see. And like Limpy also said, I don't really like talking to people looking in stores. So I hate when things are locked up like a baby formula. Yeah, I don't like to talk to people either. So I hate to like just like ask for like someone to like, hey, can I get access to this thing? Even if it's for just like earbuds at like the CVS or like the Rite Aid, as it were. It's like I'd rather not talk to people. Can I just not? I just want to come in and go out.
I just don't want to talk to people in general because, one, I'm autistic. Two, people suck.
Yeah, a lot of people do suck. Yeah. You were in South Carolina too, so like that's like.
I'm surrounded by Southern Baptists.
I will say that like definitely certain religious organizations. Oh yeah, I'm fine if it like is burned down to like Thanos snap disappears right away. The Catholic Church. Thanos snap it.
If I could Thanos snap fascists, that would make you better than Thanos, because I would only be getting rid of about 1/6 of the population, and also they're fascists.
Yes, it's for them. It's a situation of like change your heart or die. That's something that like it could happen here. We're talking about when talking about the trans ban that's happening in like Texas, as it were. And yes, it's just like no, it does not change the law. It's not change the law at all. It's just change the interpretations of the law. So like, but people can still have those terrible interpretations and use it to punish good parents who have trans kids that are just want to be loving to their
and a
trans
lawsuit has recently been filed about that, as I understand.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Let's see. Jocelyn said like working at a co-op in like Minnesota, we had a number of neo-Nazis come in because like Whole Foods culture is white culture. Bull. Being a trans person is extremely annoying to deal with. I imagine. Yes, exactly.
Let's see, Ms. Magazine, a couple days ago, Texas governor's investigations into parents of trans child temporarily halted. God, stop giving me pop-ups. I'm not going to get notices. Fuck you. All right. Lambda Legal, the ACLU of Texas, filed a suit to block the state performing a child abuse investigation of a family seeking health care for a trans child. So, if this goes to the Supreme Court is full of assholes, so Texas will win. But if it doesn't go that far, then
there's a chance,
there's a chance that trans children will be able to get appropriate medical care in Texas.
Yeah,
Fucking
and so
hate everyone. I'm just the
it,
last
I do.
7 years have made me a rage machine of leftism.
Yeah, and I agree with like the crew that can happen here, Robert Evans, Chris, and Gareth, is that like if liberals believe vote blue, don't worry, we will primary out, we'll vote out like Gavin Newsom.
The
No,
system
like
will
Gavin Newsom.
work. No, it won't. Fuck you, liberal.
No, yeah, because Robin has said no. Texas has strategically been like mapped out to be like liberals believe it'll go purple eventually. It couldn't go purple. It go purple. No, it's just like structurally not gonna go purple. The
It already
Republicans
is purple, but
but
electorally, gerrymanderingly,
yes,
it is red.
exactly. I forgot the governor of Texas like name, and I agree with you, Marty, that as she said on like her past like the Tea Party, because that governor is trying to like win an election as it were, or it's like he's doing terribly in the polls. So the best way to drum up his base is like the anti-trans bigotry as it were. And now the discussion now for individual trans people and trans families, like especially those who lovingly want to like protect their trans children and they currently live in Texas. If you, if they can leave and they want to, sure, up to them. Anarchists, I'm not going to tell them otherwise. Yep, the Seattle and Portland's pretty good about that sort of thing too. So we can move to like a better state or California that's like at least more friendly to trans people in the cities. That's an important distinction in the cities. But if like every trans person or every family with trans kids like leaves Texas is as where it does like there is this like the fortunate like I don't know what the word is dichotomy is where it's like if all the marginalized people leave that area, that leaves like very little support system for the people who can't leave as it were, which it goes into like I even had this debate with like someone who like was avidly saying that like me as a leftist in America I should just leave because America's lost cause as it were. I resisted that because I have like comrades here that can't leave because they're disabled, and so they can't even go to like somewhere like Canada or New Zealand or like the UK and stuff like that. But also B, if I leave, that we like, but sadly not. Yes, exactly, Von Raggett. That's also another point. Sadly, not everyone can like. And then welcome in, Von Raggett. Hello, it's great to see you as always.
All right.
Is it not everyone can afford to leave, so even though it be advantageous for people to leave because it's a terrible place, not everyone can afford to do it, and if the people that can afford to do it do choose to or all choose to, that leaves little support for the people that are left behind and can't leave. And so which is why I have like thought about this a lot. If I were to move, I would still move within America essentially, and maybe be closer to like a conference that can help out, so I can like visit them or like be like close by in case they need me as or instead of like I just help out when I can, like sending money as I always do. But like if I leave America completely, I feel like I would abandon my comrades who can't leave. That's where, and so that's
Like me.
yeah, exactly. And if like I think I can still do some good, not in electoralism because the is only harm reduction at best, honestly, but praxis were, and even like at 1% at a time having conversations about like people, I think I can like change at least some people's heart and minds, but not a lot. But like I feel like I can do good work in the belly of the beast as it were, even though
I can move to Canada.
yeah,
You could, but it would be very different from Florida. Among other things,
yes.
they have winter in Canada.
That is a good point. They still have the racism in Canada, though. But like maybe I don't know.
You know what else they have? You know what else they have?
What? Avril
Guess.
Lavigne.
Just guess.
Avril Lavigne.
Yep. Just guess. Yes, I'm not gonna say a word. Just guess.
Okay, for that, you have fully earned your white girl image for the episode. You literally cannot even right now. It'll show up on YouTube in about 20 seconds.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I've definitely struggled with not being black enough for black people or
No,
white people,
fuck
so.
off with that. You are.
Yeah.
That's. Blackness is something done to you.
I agree.
I mean, blackness is white splaining anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
I
agree.
am.
Yeah.
I am literally white splitting black
It's
history
it's
right
it,
now.
it's basically saying I have as a white person I have these like boxes I want to put you in. Go jump into it. Or black people too, because black people will black explain to other black folks, so that exists too, based off of white splaining.
I'm catching up with like a chat right now. It's like let's see, Jocelyn has like said like saying honestly referring to like the conversation about the mithril. Yeah, that's a good point. And yeah, Mr. What sort of half-wit like says the most powerful political party in the state can decide voting priorities? The founding fathers. I think honestly, because like,
why do we have districts? Why do we have an election day? Why are we constrained to the limits of literally horse and wagon technology? We could do elections so very fucking differently, and we don't. Because it keeps the Republicans and Democrats in power.
Yeah, exactly. That's because like the only people that have the power to be able to change the system, electoral system as it is, are the people who get elected with the very same system. So why do like change something that gave them the power that they have? Or of course also they're bought and paid for by the corporations, and the corporations doesn't change that at all because like they'll still like the legal system bribery that they have with campaign finances and lobbying. And so they're going to change it as well. And agreement. So we know trans people should like come to like a Turf Island. Marty was already got there.
Actually, I think all the trans people should go to Turf Island and overthrow the government and make it Trans Island.
Oh, I'm fine with
Force everyone in Britain to trans. No, don't. Don't force them to trans, but definitely make it the Trans Island. Make it the queerest fucking place in the world.
Okay, I'm all for that.
Make J.K. Rowling super duper unhappy because fuck that asshole.
Yes,
Not
absolutely.
But also literally.
Again, jackass Karen Rowling can just like be flying into the sun, as it were, be launched in the sun. And Ninja Sarah, that's a good point. Can we volunteer to be another?
I think we should launch our nukes into the sun. That's probably better.
I missed the cat long.
But then we won't have nukes for asteroid defense, so maybe not.
That's fine. About 20 seconds. Geek.
Yeah. But let's see. Where was like kind of my point? Is where? Okay, there we go. I see the cat yelling on like YouTube. Okay, I'm happy now. Anyway, so Digital Heritage, that's an interesting idea. Can we volunteer another country? Can we like just be volunteered to be like Finnish or something like that, like they colonized or something? Why not? I don't know.
That's called secession, and the slave owners tried to do that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Digital Heritage, I just wanted the policies for like healthcare as were. And that's a good point. I don't want one of the nukes to be blowing up on launch as were. That is a risk. So let's have Superman gather all the nukes and toss them in the sun. But that was bad too because that created the villain of that movie as well. So we have to like get rid of all the nukes without creating another supervillain or another superpower villain. Who still has the voice of like Gene Hackman though. And with John Cryer as his like cousin or nephew. It was his nephew. That was a weird movie. Which a movie I still have not seen. I've only seen reviews of it.
Have you guys heard the trend of YouTubers or Twitch streamers selling farts in jars? Have you guys heard of that?
That sounds like an OnlyFans thing, and I believe it.
Yes. No, that's definitely a sex worker thing. Absolutely, yes, they definitely have sold certain things too. There was this story years ago about a popular Twitch streamer selling her bathwater.
Yeah, Amarath, right? That's her name.
And it's interesting. I guess I could look back at the discourse around that. I didn't see much of discourse in my opinion because go ahead. I mean, if it's breaks Twitch's TOS, then like that'll be Twitch user with that Twitch streamer has to like work that out with like Twitch OS. And if the Twitch doesn't want the streamers to do that, okay, which is what they do not definitely. The Twitch says no to those streamers linking their OnlyFans accounts on their Twitch pages. Where you cannot do that at all. So you can link them to your Twitter, and Twitter is a different thing. You can definitely you can do porn on Twitter, honestly. So it's like, so you can definitely link your OnlyFans on Twitter is where, but like. So I don't remember if like that Twitch streamer particularly got like in trouble like in Twitch. I would doubt it. I can see how it would break TOS if it is in her TOS like she did on Twitch, like a redeem or something like that, or did the purchase through Twitch as where and you get an alert. So and I honestly still don't know why that's happening, and I don't know why Jack is Karen Rowlands is like trending on Twitter today. And when I'm seeing like
not
those
for any good reasons, probably. I finally found that Facebook post. Okay. CRT doesn't say white people are bad. That's just a fact. CRT says why and how white people are bad. And it's because dark skies make dark souls. When you get less sunlight, you turn to crime and evil. That's Europe. And somebody replied with a confused emoji. And then she obviously didn't get that I was being fatuous because she said, it's not about feelings. It's just on a global scale, Europe has a lower crime rate than pretty much every other part of the world. And she went on and on in that
Well,
vein.
maybe because they have better social services than everywhere else.
Maybe because they've been stealing all the wealth from everyone, and poverty is what drives crime.
Yep, exactly. And white people still want to like have that white supremacy and claim that sort of thing too. And as the Indigenous Heritage said before in this like stream, no, we can have all the benefits of the international trade that we have. That all could have happened. It just couldn't happen without the settler colonialism and slavery and imperialism. Mm-hmm. But the white people decided to do the slavery and imperialism and like the sort of settler colonialism because they still want to have the power that they had, as it were. Let's see. I'm catching up with the chat. This where Jocelyn said like the fact that ones actually happened. The first ones actually happened. The bathwater was about but the fourth one was someone else, and like she had to stop because the guy required.
I just think it's all stupid, but that's just me.
Right? Yeah.
Well, most sex stuff is at its core deeply stupid.
It's yeah.
I'm going to rub my gonads against your gonads for a couple of minutes. That's a stupid concept. Be honest.
Okay, no. I actually agree with you there. I should not keep saying, but I agree with you. It's just like, and I think many ace people would also say it's like, yeah, how stupid it is. Which is why it's like when you talk about like, say, see this, look at this hot person. They go, okay, yeah, that's an attractive person. But do you know about garlic bread? Have you heard about the amazing stuff that garlic bread's all about? And I can imagine the diet required for a huge amount of farts is where to be able to jar them as where would do a lot of damage on one's health. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no. Anything that's a bodily function that can be stored in a jar can definitely be sold, and sex workers have definitely like sold those things. And I don't want to go. I should not go into further details of what some people do with the things that they bought from other people.
The majority of people who are buying stuff from sex workers are white supremacists. I'll fight you on this.
Actually,
the majority of sex workers are the victims of white supremacists. I think that is definitely
agree with that. Actually, yeah. Sexual patriarchy is like which sexual patriarchy is tied into white supremacy. What's also tied into like sexual colonialism because they're the only two gender things. That's the this white supremacist patriarch coming over and saying, no, you the natives should not have that's what they call them, savages should not have like two-spirited or anything like that. And the boarding schools that they enacted all across North America, that like some of which have only been like closed down like recently. Some of them are probably still open as well.
I would like to point out that somebody improved on my meme 500%. I had Drake reacting negatively to seizing Russian oligarchs and positively to seizing all oligarch property, and somebody improved on it by changing it to the Geordie meme. Like,
yes.
Hold up a minute, and then approving. Yeah, so it's 500% better.
Yeah, Drake. I remember hearing that Drake groomed one of his fans, unfortunately. So
Oh,
I have to like.
I wasn't talking about Drake, pardon me. It's just that instead of reacting negatively, it's okay to seize Russian oligarch property. But it's better to seize all oligarch property. That's why the meme works 500% better.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Drake is just like, oh no. Well, Drake's like, hold on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rawlings is upset about the government doing something to make being a trans easier. She's just 9,000% a bitch.
I don't think I'm going to watch anything that I have still have not watched the last two Harry Potter movies. I don't know if I want to now. Granted, if I
You
do
mean
do
Fantastic
it,
Beasts?
no. I actually seen those two Fantastic Beasts movies, unfortunately, already.
They are actually good.
Oh no, I did enjoy the first one a lot, even though
I like
even
having
though,
an autistic hero. It was so great.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
like that it was written by a piece of shit and starred a piece of shit, Johnny.
yeah.
But
Yeah, Johnny Depp. Yeah, weirdly enough, someone like did not like it because he said it's like Doctor Who as a Pokemon trainer. But when you describe it as that, it's like that makes it awesome. Actually,
yeah,
Doctor
and
Who as
that's
a
exactly what it is.
but no, I'm talking about the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 Harry
Oh,
Potter
okay.
movie.
Oh,
I did
so
not see those.
the movies that came out like 15 years ago.
Yes. Okay, it was we
I'll
were
catch them all, Pokemon.
we were as a
He's
family,
British,
we're,
so anything kind of Scottish, so gotta catch him all Pokemons.
to be fair, it's like my family was watching Harry Potter movies as a family, and yeah, I did mention that Sean put up a Harry Potter video as well.
I did not see that. I've been focusing too much on the MCU to watching a YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the middle of 2018 at this point.
Oh, the 2018 of the MCU, that would be
Cloak
Doctor
and Dagger
Strange?
is where I'm at. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Yep, July of 2018. Cloak and Dagger season 1. I have watched more than half of the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point.
That's right, because like of the
I am
TV
51 out of 81 properties, and that includes properties that haven't come out yet.
Yeah.
Imagine if anarchism were the case and everybody could play with that sandbox. Imagine what we could do.
I gotta run at 3:30.
Yep,
So to all of us, we are
Yeah.
coming up close to the end. Yes.
Well, yeah, because now, because John Bertman said he now has a membership at the gym, and in order to be able to get to the gym on a Sunday before it closes, he wants to keeps these streams to be like only 90 minutes as well. But hey, we missed hot take. Pokemon is just Pac-Man revised.
I don't know that that's the case, David, because Pokemon, Pac-Man, you got to catch them all. Either way, but camera.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch I'm probably gonna watch like a shit ton of movies. Like I'm probably gonna watch like Terminator, and then Wrath of Khan.
Okay, that's a good.
You should also watch Die Hard. If you're going with the '80s, you got to go with the classics. Die Hard.
Ooh,
Great
Die
Christmas
Hard is
movie.
a classic. A excellent, awesome, ridiculous '80s action movie. I think it's 81's.
Propaganda out the ass, but I had
True.
a lot of fun.
Well, that's the thing, though. It is a tendency amongst us leftists where it's like, oh, propaganda.
The MCU as a whole is propaganda. I am currently 51 out of 81 projects through.
But people do need entertainment as well. They want to have their fun and something like that. So you do not have.
And
to
when
be
you're
that person
powerless, a power fantasy is a lot.
Yeah, and so it does actually help some people actually get through some really dark times to just read some Marvel comics and silly pictures and silly images and something like that. But yeah, I read Transparent Soul.
Power Jordan is such a good superhero name. You are now Power Jordan, Jordan P.
Power Jordan, yes, excellent. So even though there's already Power Man, that's like a Luke Cage. But Power Jordan is not Power Jordan.
And there's also Michael Jordan, but who sold his shoes. But everything with Michael Jordan, Alan Rickman in it, yes.
Yeah. The RoboCop is also great. We talked about. I talked about my first appearance here on Social Justice Alchemy, episode 32. So anyway, but like, I should not have like unhidden it. It's like anyway. Like Isaiah Taylor, do you have your own YouTube channel as it were? Sinister Intelligence.
Yes.
And you're making films. You are a
Yep.
creator.
Mm-hmm.
I have 37 subscribers so far.
That's cool.
That's
it's like,
about as many as we have here on Social Justice Alchemy, so you're doing good.
yeah. It's linked down and below in the description, as well as like the charity links page. So don't forget to help out with comments if you need any help as it were. And stay safe, Jocelyn. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for like and your sensors in you. Yeah, that's like tough. You're amongst like comrades and like and welcoming people here, as like a lot of us are spoonies and on spectrum too.
I have trouble with sounds, lights, and touch stuff. I could not wear blue jeans until
those were tight as
5th
hell.
grade.
Yeah.
No, I mean this was in the 80s. Those were stiff acid wash blue jeans. They were so itchy and uncomfortable. It wasn't until people started making fun of me every day for wearing sweatpants every day that I finally switched over at the age of 10.
Oh, yeah. I'm neurodivergent for sure because I'm dyslexic the world untied, and I'm dyslexic actually, so I don't believe a dog. And I'm Summer and Geek on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch. I don't know when I'm going to be streaming. I'm going to try to squeeze in like maybe 2-hour streams now on like evenings or like late at night, very late at night for me, and just like do some Twitch streams there because I'm still going to be working a lot. And I'm going to go
again, thoughts and prayers, Mithril. That's
yes, thoughts and prayers, Mithril, for
except like real stuff, sympathies.
Right. So like, but no, our hearts are with you, Mithril. Hope you can like take care of yourself. So check out Summer and the Geek on Twitter
and
YouTube,
don't try
and
and buy
Twitch.
France, Mithril. You can't. Not even after
That's Mithril wanted to buy France. Okay, Mithril, sure. Mithril's a guy.
No, Mithril, sell your dad's house and then buy a house in France and live with Julie and Flora. That would be awesome. The three of you together being communists in France. With a garden.
No, Julie's going. Maybe I don't know. No, but Julie wants to like leave France too, as it were. It's on like go to like a New Zealand when she has the money to do so. But like
yeah, but disabled people aren't allowed to move.
Yeah, that's probably true. But John Broadway, you're part of another podcast, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Dungeons and Debacles, a D&D podcast where we are fighting an evil red dragon cult. Very different from this, even though I am essentially playing a character who is me.
So Jocelyn. Oh, Josh is probably not here anymore. I know who they are actually as well. A friend of mine, Jocelyn. Check out Dungeons and Debacles podcast if you got a chance. Guys, like they have their own like YouTube stuff and like Twitch stuff as well. Like I'll confirm with like her if like can promote that stuff too. But they play a lot Warhammer too. So yeah.
Fascists versus fascists.
And she's well aware of like the Warhammer stuff, blood for the blood god and stuff like that. And it's like no, like but anyway, we're ending this show. So take care of everyone. Don't forget to hydrate, medicate, eat something.
Hydrate, medicate, masturbate. Self-care.
Yes, if you want to.
And pray for world peace somehow.
I mean, eventually.
Doesn't work.
Well, also
throw Molotovs, world peace. That's what you got to do. But don't throw actual Molotovs. That's illegal. Except do.
Yes, only in Fortnite. That's where, and we call them freedom potions.